Good afternoon, Chairman Hansen and members of the Health and Human Services Committee. I'm Megan Hunt, MEGAN, HUNT, and I represent District 8. And today I'm presenting two constitutional amendments to help protect Nebraskans' rights to reproductive freedom. LRs 18 and 19CA are very similar in intent and subject matter. And I wanted to provide the body with two options to consider that differ slightly in their approach, but I'm going to speak about them together broadly and just note the differences between the two, but of course have the two hearings together. I'm glad we're having the combined hearing because so many Nebraskans missed out on opportunities to testify this year. So I also have another bill up in committee this afternoon, so I might have to duck out and do that one and come back, but I'll be back if I do that. The attack on abortion rights in our nation and state has been well underway for years now. With the Supreme Court's overturning of Roe versus Wade last year, we've known that a bill like LB626 was coming. I've been a part of ongoing discussions with advocates about how best to meet these attacks on abortion rights, and those conversations prompted me to introduce this pair of CAs to give Nebraskans an opportunity to vote on the issue. With the Dobbs decision that reversed Roe last June, the Supreme Court reversed nearly 50 years of jurisprudence that recognized a right of individual privacy within the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution that included a right for people to make individual health care decisions, including a woman's qualified right to end her own pregnancy. Since there is now no constitutional right to abortion, reproductive freedom is in the hands of the states. The two proposals before you offer alternatives for an amendment to our state constitution to provide a right of privacy or a right of bodily autonomy to protect a person's right to health care and right to abortion. People in Nebraska do not want the government to control their health care decisions. They do not want politicians coming between themselves and their doctors. This is especially true when the medical decision is as deeply personal and individual as whether to end a pregnancy. Recent polling found that 55% of respondents opposed to a proposed ban and only 40% of respondents supported it. The majority of Nebraskans do not support abortion bans. That was an ACLU poll. In December 2022, the Holland Children's Movement released its own polling, which showed that Nebraskans overwhelmingly oppose a total ban on abortion, 67%. Additionally, 55% of Nebraskans said they believe abortion should be at least legal in most cases, with only 12% indicating they thought abortion should be illegal in all cases. LR18CA amends Article 1, Section 1 of our Constitution to include reproductive freedom among the listed individual rights we already recognize, which includes life, liberty, the right to possess firearms, the right to hunt, and other rights. LR19CA provides a more robust constitutional protection for reproductive rights to create a new provision in our Constitution, which would include the right to make decisions about all matters relating to pregnancy, including but not limited to prenatal care, childbirth, postpartum care, contraception, sterilization, abortion care, miscarriage management, and infertility care. This proposal further provides that the state is prohibited from criminalizing or prosecuting or sanctioning people for exercising their rights under this new section. States are able to provide rights and dignity to people so they can make their own decisions about whether to end a pregnancy. These rights can be statutory or they can be constitutional. Additionally, states are always able to provide more or greater constitutional protection for people than the U.S. Constitution provides. States can protect these rights in their constitutions so that state policymakers cannot limit or remove the right by simple majority vote. We do have a guarantee of right to privacy and a guarantee of equal protection in our Constitution, but our courts have not recognized a right to abortion contained within them. That's why these proposals are necessary. In the lead up to floor debate over LB626, Senator Albright's abortion ban, we've heard claims that Nebraskans support that bill en masse. If that's true, let's let them tell us. If Nebraskans are going to be fundamentally limited in their civil rights, let's give them the choice in this matter and put it on the ballot. If we deny them the opportunity to vote on this, I think that's very telling about where the public actually stands on the issue. I'll wrap up here. As a side note, one thing I think about a lot as I work on this issue is I was in DC. I was at the Supreme Court for the Roe versus Wade decision. And there were so many people there, and there were so many protesters on both sides, you know, and I was walking back to my hotel, and a family came up to me and they were asking me about my feelings about the decision and everything. And I said I opposed it, and they gave me kind of the like, we're praying for your soul, may God have mercy on your soul, this type of thing that sometimes you hear. And then the man in the family, as he was walking away, he yelled behind him, "You can always talk to your state representative, because now it's going to just be up to the states." And I said, I am my state representative, and here we are. So with that, I'll close, and happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions from the committee? Senator Kavanaugh.
Thank you. I just really am curious how that conversation went with yourself.
She agrees with me.
Oh. All right. Thank you. Thanks for
She's working pretty hard on it too.
Yeah.
So.
I've noticed. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? All right.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I also want to say I appreciate everybody coming to testify today, even those who firmly disagree with me. I respect everybody's engagement here civically today. Thank you, Chairman Hansen, and thank you, my friends on the Health and Human Services Committee, for being here today and listening to all these testifiers and making sure everybody could be heard. And thank you also to the testifiers for contributing to the conversation here. I don't have any really deep thoughts to close. I wanted to respond to some of the things that have been said. I would put to bed the accusations of hypocrisy for, between my views and then my views with COVID-19 and the things that we went through in the last few years, because there's a big difference between pregnancy and COVID-19, and that's that pregnancy isn't contagious. There's a common thread that's really linking the anti-abortion, anti-reproductive freedom with the anti-COVID crowd, and that is a wholesale lack of respect for science, for evidence and research, for medical consensus. And all of this is happening while we also weaken and defund public education as maternal and fetal mortality in our country increases. All of these things are a maelstrom of mess that is honestly making Americans less safe, less healthy, less trusting of each other, less civil. And I think we have to just reverse course a little bit and start going back the other direction. Even in the Bible, the angel did not leave Mary until she consented to carry the child. We can also think of dozens of different state and federal laws where a fetus is not considered a person. For example, in the census, in congressional and legislative redistricting, we don't count fetuses as people. In the Constitution, when we talk about school funding, nobody's fetus counts towards any kind of allocations of resources in those types of laws and policy decisions. So, it could also be said that fetal death is granted status as the equivalent of a homicide in traffic accidents or murders or things like this because of the consent of the mother to gestate that fetus. So this is an issue that the Supreme Court has said goes to the states. And I think in Nebraska, the ultimate authority has to be the people. And I trust the people to tell us what they think the law should be around abortion in Nebraska. Nobody in this room, I don't think, thinks that this bill is going to come out of this committee, that either of these legislative resolutions are going to come out of this committee. But there will be either a referendum on an abortion ban passed in Nebraska this year, or there will be a ballot initiative for a constitutional amendment of this nature. If they said it's going to be up to the states, let's make it up to the states and not up to the 49 unqualified, untrained, inexperienced state lawmakers that we have in this state to make the decision instead. Because we really don't know what's best for individuals and families when it comes to decisions about how, when, where to start a family. But I trust our neighbors and I want to know what they think. Thank you.